Hey, what's going on, guys? Just about to get started here. Just waiting for 8:30 to tick over, and then we'll get going and talk about what's going on in the markets. All right, so it is April 25th, 2021. A lot going on right now in the news. So, as it stands, the U.S. is currently at a 40% capacity. So 40% of the country has received at least a single dose of the coronavirus vaccine. In other news, Israel states that they're investigating reports of heart inflammation in those receiving the Pfizer vaccine. Thus far, they stated that there are, quote, tens of incidences in 5 million vaccinated, but even if it was up to 100, that would still be 0.0002% of that. So, although there are reports, it's clearly not something widespread and something that you would necessarily need to worry about. The EU also said that they will be allowing U.S. citizens to visit Europe this summer, as long as they're vaccinated. As far as earnings goes this week, this is the biggest week of earnings this quarter, with the major tech companies like Amazon, Google, and Apple all reporting earnings, as well as Tesla. Bitcoin also dropped substantially from the record $65,000 high, and it just recently put in a false breakout right near the $47,000 mark. And you can see on the left-hand side right here, put in a really nice false breakout right here, trapping out all these shorts. So it's putting in what I consider a pretty decent buy point. Asian stocks were pulled higher today as the economic recovery is whetting appetites for risk. It's currently near its 3-week high, and China's economy so far this year has been doing quite well. Sorry about that. Let me turn off my jigsaw here is giving goofy sound signals when people are ever putting in block trades. Sorry about that. Okay, so FOMC on Wednesday. And you definitely want to mark your calendars for that. Although interest rates are likely going to remain at zero until the populace reaches a 75% vaccination rate. And that is basically what has been said by Powell himself. So we also have the Q1 GDP figures on Thursday, which so far economic activity in 2021 has been pretty favorable. So that may yield good results. Also, last week, the GOP issued a lowball response to Biden's now $2.4 trillion infrastructure plan, bidding a mere $568 billion in response. And their plan is primarily directed at transportation, water, and broadband systems, and doesn't address anything within Biden's package regarding the elderly or disabled, and a lot of the other more you know you know not the GOP stuff is primarily like roads, bridges, that kind of stuff, and the Biden's plan has more to do with like social capital, that kind of stuff. Oil also slipped as coronavirus concerns in India and Japan are potentially shirking demand. They are the third and fourth largest oil importers. So I know India is definitely struggling at the moment. The dollar also continues to fall against most currencies as speculation that Powell will forego the tapering of bond purchases is likely to be talked about on Wednesday. So Powell is like I said, they're going to be asking him like, okay, as the economy recovers, when are you guys going to start looking at slowing down bond purchases? And so far analysts have stated that they think that would likely be premature. So yeah, and because of that, continued buying of U.S. Treasuries puts downward pressure on both Treasury yields as well as the U.S. dollar. All right, let's see what's going on in the calendar this week. So tomorrow we have core durable goods month over month for March. That is expected to be better than February. Tuesday we have the conference board consumer confidence. That's for the month of April. That measures the level of consumer confidence in economic activity, and can be a leading indicator of spending. That's expected to be greater than March, basically inferring that spending is ramping up. We also have crude oil inventories on Wednesday. Last week we had about 500,000. And then also Wednesday at 11 a.m. we have the Fed interest rate decision, likely to remain at 0. And then at 11:30 we have the FOMC. Thursday we have initial jobless claims. Last week we got a surprise benefit. Came in lower than expected at 547,000. This week they have it forecast at 560,000. Also importantly, on Thursday we have the Q1 GDP figures coming out, and that's quarter over quarter, as well as pending home sales. Friday, nothing major going on, and here are the charts for the previous economic indicators. So consumer confidence is likely, it's mostly just been ranging, but it is on an incline. You can see that crude oil, it had a pretty substantial draw week before last, but last week was fairly flat. Unemployment, as I stated, is coming down quite a bit. This one I thought was really interesting. This is the home price index, and you can see the price of houses has absolutely skyrocketed in 2021. That has a lot to do with interest rates, but I know some people that do real estate, and they said that housing prices are really, really high right now. Okay, so apart from that, really, really big earnings week, like I said. So tomorrow we have Tesla. Tuesday we have Microsoft, Google, Visa, Eli Lilly, Texas Instruments, and the list goes on, as well as AMD. Wednesday is the big tech day. We have Apple, Facebook, Qualcomm. We also have Boeing and Ford. Thursday we have Amazon, MasterCard, Comcast, Twitter. Friday we have Exxon Mobil and Chevron. So, and we have a couple IPOs this week. Not a lot. I'm sure people aren't wanting to do their initial public offering right in the middle of a huge earnings week. But there is a solar company, FTC Solar, that's IPOing on Thursday. And Privia Health Group, not a software robotic automation. This is a healthcare partnership, I believe. So, all right, here's the sector analysis for last week. So you can see things were fairly mixed. Healthcare starting to rebound. Consumer cyclicals were hit really hard, and tech, particularly semiconductors, was hit really hard. Entertainment also down. Netflix down 7.5% last week. Real estate and healthcare are really the only leading sectors last week. Here's the last month. This is the month of April thus far. So you can see that everything is just, this thing is just blowing up bright green. You can see how strong tech has been. So, all right. So here's my analysis on the S&P for the overnight session. So essentially, on Friday during the close, we created, just prior to the close, I should say, we created a new all-time high of 41.8725, but we failed to hold above the previous all-time high. So the session closed on a spike down, but still remained above VWAP. So far, the overnight session is balancing. The price action was mixed, but we did get a false breakout just below just below Friday's close. That trapped out some shorts, and things have been on the incline since then. The NASDAQ is showing similarly. You can see Delta's up as well. So I'm basically looking for a retest of the all-time high, but note that this is a major supply zone, so we'll just want to see what happens tomorrow. All right, so here's where we stand. This is more of like a midterm chart. So you can see we are in a major area of balance. On a higher time frame, though, this would likely look somewhat like a bull flag. So as it stands, my bias is bullish. I'm looking for a retest of the all-time high with a potential break to a new area of balance. And here's where we stand. This is a daily chart right here. This was my bias for last week. And I said last week that there was a false breakout below the low, below Friday's low in the overnight session last Sunday. So I was neutral bullish. However, I did mention and have been mentioning for some time actually, I was expecting a correction, which you can see here. We did end up getting that. And then it really whipsawed around for the 2 days following. So yeah, basically, like I said, we're in balance, but it's more or less a bull flag. All right, here are some trade ideas. Let's take a look at what happened last week. So last week I mentioned the V bottom here on Bitcoin. Sorry, hang on one second. I want to see if I can clean up the image. My phone has been looking really grainy for some reason lately. I need to like put it on my other monitor. Might not like the LCD. So basically, I pointed out this V bottom here and a possible reversal. I did mention one caveat in that there was a lot of momentum coming to this, so I didn't know if we would see continuation or not. You would have made some money on it, but it did end up reversing, and we saw a continuation to the downside. On the SPY here, I was looking for a retracement. This is more of like a mean reversion trade. Ended up just flagging. You would have made money on the trade, but you wouldn't have gotten a ton out of it. And then Neo actually trapped out all these shorts. So I was looking for a short here, bounce off the trend line, and a break below this major support level. But we ended up getting enough demand at this low to trap out all these shorts, break the trend line, and it's been on the incline ever since. This week though, as far as setups go, so because of the very nice looking trap on Neo, I'm looking for continuation to the upside. I'm looking for a small pullback to this trend line here, and then continuation up towards higher prices. We're still fairly low in the past, where it stood in the past couple months, 6 months. Naked Brands is at a very nice reversal point right now. So this is a 1 hour time frame. I'm looking for continuation off of this pullback and a retest of this pivot high up here. This is a monthly VWAP right here. So this would be 2 standard deviations. So this target would be pretty much right at where the 2 standard deviation mark is. I'm trying to pick. Sorry, one second. Can I check CL and GC? Yeah, of course. Oh, sorry, man. I had my phone sideways. Didn't even realize it was you. So like I said, I'm trying to pick some cheaper stocks to make the options trades and that kind of stuff more accessible for people that have smaller accounts. So and then the only other thing I wanted to mention was that we have a very small unfilled gap right here. So this thing might fill and then take off. So watch out for that tomorrow. And then last but not least, Pfizer. This thing has just been on a crazy bull run. I don't know about the heart inflammation stuff that's going on right now in Israel with those getting the Pfizer vaccine, if that will make any sort of significant impact. But as it stands right now, I am looking for a continuation off the pullback and a break back above probably the $40 level. So okay, so as it stands, my bias is primarily bullish, and I'll be monitoring for continuation as we probe for higher prices near the newly created all-time high. Given the importance of earnings this week, I'll be watching things closely, particularly in the tech sector. Given how positive the economy has been thus far in Q1, I am bullish on a fundamental basis. Also, don't forget to mark your calendars for the FOMC on Wednesday. And although negative earnings report for Tesla tomorrow would likely be a non-event for the S&P as a whole, I'm still going to be monitoring that closely because it is a fairly large, chunk of the S&P there. So, and per request, I am happy to pull up GC and CL here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up my new market profile builder here that I've been rocking because I really like the way this thing lays it out very simply. And yes, one. Oh, okay, got it. No. Had no alert on there I'd forgotten about. If you like this indicator, this is part of Pro Suite Gold. It's a fairly expensive market profile indicator, but it's definitely a very solid suite. All right, so CL clearly selling off pretty hard, and like I said, that is going to have to do with coronavirus in Japan and India right now. So you can see that we were topping out near 64.50, and we didn't bounce until 61.50. So right now we're pretty much retesting the low here. So we are right at a previous support level, which is now turning into resistance. So potentially looking for another sell-off here. If I get my marker out. So like I said, we have this support now turning into resistance. So potentially, I mean, there's two things that could happen. Either A, it's going to trap out all these shorts. You'll probably get a bunch of stops getting hit when that happens. Come back and retest this level one more time, and then continue back up to the upside. I think that's the less likely scenario. The more likely scenario is this level will probably hold, and then we'll get continuation to the downside and probably fall back into this previous area of balance back here. So that's CL, or oil futures. Let's take a look at GC, or the gold contract here. All right, so it's largely in balance here, I would say. You have kind of a funky looking, very flat trend line right there. And we have one kind of putting in like a pennant formation. If I were to zoom out more, it would probably be a little bit easier to see that. But yeah, as it stands, I mean, it really just kind of looks like we're in balance. So I'm primarily expecting us to just kind of range around in this area for some time, albeit it's more likely to break out in the direction of the overall trend, which, as it stands, is bullish. So I don't know when that break will happen, but like I said, I'm more bullish than bearish on this at the moment. And also look at the volume differential as we, well, I guess that was the very large correction during the whole tax news thing that broke out. Yeah, I didn't even mention that. So as I'm sure, most of you guys have probably heard, so Biden has talked about raising the taxes from 20% to 43% for the short-term capital gains for people that are over $1 million, I believe. I'm not sure $1 million what, if that's like annual income or what exactly, but I just know it's a very large capital gains tax increase for the wealthy. So that's what caused a lot of this stuff to take a very major hit. What would that have been on Thursday of last week, right where this massive drop happened? I couldn't believe it. These are 10-minute candles, and we retraced the entire range up until that point on Thursday. So it was a very volatile drop. I didn't even get a chance to really get in on it because I was scalping on a very fast time frame. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in. We will be on tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time, and before the open. Like I said, Tesla earnings tomorrow, guys. And I'm just gonna check here really quickly, because I didn't remember whether they reported before the open or after the close. So if we take a look here, my screen will cooperate. This is investing.com, by the way. This is my favorite website for economic calendar, earnings calendar, that kind of stuff, as well as news. Investing.com is just amazing. So tomorrow, Tesla earnings are happening after the close. So therefore, it's not likely to screw with our ability to test the all-time high in the morning. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow before the open. Yeah, thanks, Jamal. Appreciate you as always, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care.